All right, welcome. So thanks for joining me today. So just before we get started, we're going to settle into a quick seated position. So look for an evenness into the hips, nice little heaviness through the knees as well, into Sukhasana or cross-legged easy pose. Roll the shoulders back and down, just bring a bit of lift into the chest, and then you're just gently going to inhale. Feel that chest space get nice and broad, and then exhale, feel the shoulders slide down away from the ears. You're going to take a little bit of heaviness into the elbows as well. So it helps keep that chest nice and open. And then gently inhale and gently exhale. You might lower the gaze slightly, you can keep it forwards, you could even close the eyes for a few moments if that's comfortable. And then look for that nice big deep breath. And then feel nice and relaxed on your exhale. So on that inhale, just see if you can draw the breath a little bit lower, so from the top of the chest down towards the ribcage area. So we've kind of got these two parts to this breath, and then gently exhaling, releasing. And then slowly inhaling, looking for that lift into the top part of the chest, into the ribcage, and then nice and slowly outwards. And we're going to work three parts of the breath this time, so working a little bit deeper towards the diaphragm. You're trying to make the kind of belly expand as much as possible. So you take that breath into the chest, through the heart space, and then in, down towards the diaphragm. And then just let go of those three parts of the breath. So that's 3-part breath or full yogic breathing. Gently inhale, and then gently exhale. We'll take that just a couple more times. So looking for those 3 parts of the breath, and then slowly releasing. Great, so slowly one last time. We'll let go of any sense of control on the breath. You're just going to slowly notice the breath as you breathe perfectly normally. So it might be through the nose, through the mouth, whatever's comfortable for you. Great, so just hopefully we feel a little bit more settled down towards the mat. We're going to come off cross-legged, we'll come through to all fours straight away, so look for the hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, just keep a sense of attention on the breath, so you're still breathing nice and evenly. Firm up nicely through the hands as well, so get those knuckles to be really flat, you're pressing a bit of weight through the base of the thumb, so those wrists are nice and happy. Take a bit of effort through the tops of the feet, gently roll through the back into your cat-cows, and then raise the gaze, lower the tailbone, inhale. Look up, cow pose, and then gently into your cat pose, exhale. Really roll that back nice and generously. Timing it gently with the breath, always looking for the smooth motion rather than how many you can do in a minute. And then have a little check. Is the weight nice and even in each of the hands? Does it feel like the tops of the feet, the little toe and big toe are both in contact with the mat? And it also hopefully feels even into both the knees as well. Great, so once we've rolled through, evened out on both sides, we'll come back to a neutral position. You're going to move the hands slightly further forwards, take the shoulders over the hands, so we're in a halfway plank. Knees can be up or down, so if you've got the knees down, that line is kind of from knee to hip to shoulder. And then maybe you'll tuck the toes, you can swing the knees up into your full plank position. Just make sure you've got an ever so slight bend into the elbow, so the arms aren't locked out at all. We've got the hips in line with the shoulders, the ankles as well. Always that temptation for the hips to come a little bit too high, which we're kind of in a quasi downward facing dog, but not quite. Or the hips are too low, which is going to not work too well into the lower back. So you're looking for that nice line. It's often harder into the upper body. That's why I don't like to keep it there. Breathe nice and evenly into especially those arms. And then we'll gently inhale. Swing the hips up and over, back behind you. Come into downward facing dog this time. So just lift that tailbone nice and tall. Maybe bend the legs as much or as little as you need. You can keep the knees over the feet, and the feet are roughly hip width apart. Root down nicely through the hands as well. Really press out and away from those hands. Getting the fingers to be as open as possible. And then just keeping that sense of lift into the hips. Pedal through the feet. Breathe nice and evenly, so we're never holding the breath. Shake that head a little bit, yes and no. Release through the neck. Big inhale, big exhale. We're going to come onto tiptoes on your next inhale. Just lifting those hips as high as you like, and then gently exhaling. Notice how low those heels go towards the mat. Does not matter how low they go, we just want that sense of releasing the heels down, but then keeping the lift and the hips and the tailbone nice and tall. We're activated into the arms, still breathing nice and deep. Big inhale, big exhale. Again, shake through the head, and then we'll gently walk, step, or hop your way up to the top of the mat, whichever you like most. Release the top of the head down. You're in a standing forward fold now. You can take the palms down to the mat. You might loosely fold the arms just above the head. Just have a sense of the top of the head coming down towards the mat rather than staring at the toes. Big inhale, big exhale. Have a little tap towards the left-hand side, but keep the feet nice and even. Tap over towards the right-hand side. Notice that stretch into the hamstrings. And we'll gently bend round again. Take a big inhale, coming up to halfway lift. So you can take the hands to shins, knees or thumbs, elbows back behind you. Head is nice and tall. Big inhale, big exhale. Just before we release down, you're going to take the gaze towards the right-hand side. So you're looking for that neck stretch on the left-hand side of the neck. Still feels like the top of the head is really, really tall. And then gently exhale, release back down. Take the gaze towards the left-hand side. Try to keep the shoulders away from ears as best you can. And then gently exhale, release the top of the head down. Big inhale. Get a little bit longer through the back, and then gently exhale, release back down. Great, so let the hands be nice and loose on the mat as far as they want to go. Spread those toes out a little bit more. This time we're going to inhale. Halfway lift. Gently exhale. Quick inhale as we come up to standing. I'm aware I get chopped off, so we won't be here long. We're going to inhale, just raise the hands up nice and tall. Big exhale, lead with the chest, release back down into your standing forward fold. Top of the head's nice and heavy. Again, just have a little tap towards the left-hand side and then towards the right-hand side. Release the top of the head down, and then we'll bring both the hands down towards the mat. Make sure you're right at the top of your mat. Plant through the hands. You're going to bring that right foot back behind you to start with, and then just keep that left foot forward. So back knee can be up or down, whichever you prefer. So maybe it's rooting down into the mat, otherwise it's up nice and tall. You can keep the hands down on fingertips or palms, again, whichever you prefer. Just double check that this left knee is lined up over left ankle. Open up through the chest slightly, so you might make that happen just by rolling the shoulders back and down slightly. You can also take the hands to hips if you want a little bit more effort into the legs, and then you might even raise those arms up high. Whichever you prefer, you're going to work that nice and strongly. We're looking for this opening into the front right hip. Big inhale, big exhale wherever you are. Slowly, we're going to frame the front foot, just plant the hands down, but we're really going to plant the right hand down. And then take a little bit of effort, firm up through that right hand. You're going to take the left hand and then open that out towards the left hip. Middle part of the chest lines up with the left knee. You can keep taking that round, so you might find that the left shoulder can really open out. So we're turning in towards the knee, looking towards the left-hand side. Maybe that left hand is nice and high. Big inhale. So gaze is either up to the top hand. You might be looking down at the bottom hand, or you can keep that nice and straight. Slowly exhale. Release that hand back to the hip. We'll frame the front foot once again. We're going to take the left foot back behind you, swing into your quick plank pose, and then from plank we'll come down knees, chest, chin, onto our bellies, hands by chest, keep the gaze down towards the mat, lift the head up into your baby cobra, elbows back behind you, a little bit of weight through the tops of the feet. Big inhale, is the back working? Gently exhale, release. And then we'll slowly inhale, raise the head again, baby cobra. You might come a little bit higher this time. Just double check, is that back working? So always big temptation just to welly into the arms. Look for that effort into the back first. Supported by the hands, really pressing through the pubic bone. You can gently tuck the toes as you release the top of the head Back down. Maybe you come through all fours, you might shoot up into downward facing dog. If you're in all fours, give yourself a couple of breaths, look for that alignment. Tuck the toes, swing the hips up. Meet everyone else in downward facing dog. Great, so pedal through the feet. Keep that weight even into the hands, release through the head. A little bit yes and no. Big inhale, big exhale. Right leg up as high as you like, so maybe at hip height might be nice and high. Feel that big old stretch into the left calf this time. And then you're going to swing that through as best you can. So always lots of options here. You can either come through to knees and then just walk that right foot forwards. Maybe you swing as far as it can go and then help it along a little bit. Or of course, if you're feeling nice and strong, you're going to swing that through, really draw the right knee up in towards the chest, almost like you're kissing knee to nose as much as possible, keeping it nice and tight up in towards the chest, and then drawing it up. Great. So we've got right knee, just over right ankle, stretching a little bit into the left hips this time, and then we might find that that back knee wants to be up or down, entirely up to you. So back knee down, back knee up. Gently stretching across the hips. Same options as before, so maybe we're on fingertips, you might be hands on hips, or you can have those arms nice and high. Whatever works for you, just look for that deep breath and that even weight into front foot and back foot. Great, we'll gently release. We're going to plant the hands down. But then this time you're going to take the right hand and just plant that to the inside of the right foot. And then we're turning away from the knee this time, so as best you can keep that right knee over right ankle. You can take the left hand onto the left hip and then look towards the left. And then maybe take the hand high if you wish. Big inhale, big exhale. Gently release. Notice how that felt into the hips as we gently frame the front foot again. Step up with the back foot, standing forward fold. Release the top of the head down, have a tap towards the left, then the right. Shake that head to release through the neck. Big inhale, halfway lift. Feel nice and tall with the top of the head. Big exhale to release. And then once again, we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Find that length through the back, through the neck. Elbows back behind you, wherever the hands are. And then this time we're going to keep coming up to standing. Great. Big inhale, hands up high. Big exhale, lead with the chest. Come back into that standing forward fold. Top of the head releases. And then hands are nice and heavy on the mat. Have a little tap towards the right, then towards the left. Breathing nice and evenly. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then we're going to take the left foot back behind you this time. So swing it back so that the right knee's lined up over that right ankle this time. Gently opening on the left side of the hips. And then you might hang out palms on the mat, fingertips on the mat, hands on hips. Maybe those hands are nice and high. Whatever works for you. Just gently opening out into that left hip. Big inhale, big exhale. Great, so once you're feeling a little bit more open in that left side of the hip, what we're going to do is take the left hand down, plant that left palm as best you can into the middle of the mat. Right hand comes to right hip, we're opening that chest towards this right knee, and then maybe you stay there, just really working the chest open as much as you can. Back knee is up or down, whichever you prefer, and then that right arm could come up nice and tall. So try to open out as best you can, really looking for that middle part of the chest to open out in towards that right knee. Great, so big inhale, big exhale. Take that hand back to the hip if that's high. Frame that front foot. We're going to plant the hands, swing that right foot back behind you, plank pose. Elbows, insides of the elbows even looking in towards each other. Feel nice and long with the back through the legs. Gently exhale, down with knees, chest, chin, onto our fronts. Hands by chest, gently inhale. Keep the gaze low, baby cobra. Lots of weight through the tops of the feet, through the pubic bone, and activating into the back. Gently exhale to release. And then we'll inhale, Raise, might be a little bit high, you might feel like you can raise the gaze a tiny bit more. Just focus on that lower back, see how comfortable that is, and then gently exhale. Release the top of the head down, tuck the toes. Maybe you shoot up into that downward facing dog, or you come up nice and slow. So look for that alignment in your all fours. Tuck the toes, and then swing the hips up. Great, so pedal through the feet. Flatten out those hands. Lift the hips, and then really press it out down into each of the hands to help lift the tailbone up. Double check, feet are roughly hip width apart, as are the knees. Big inhale, big exhale. And then once we feel nice and even, you're going to take that left foot as high as you like. So could be square, might be a little bit higher. And then we've got our options. So most gentle option, coming back to all fours and then just walking that left foot forwards. Might be lots of little steps up. Or if you're feeling full of energy for today, you're going to really hug that left knee as close as possible towards the chest. Work it forwards, 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 forwards. Weights coming quite strongly into both the hands now. And then you take that left foot and step it forwards. Might be completely different on this side. Just notice the difference. It doesn't really matter how it gets there as long as you get that left foot underneath left knee this time. Open out into the right side of the hips. Once again, look for the fingertips or the palms on the mat. You've got that option of hands to hips. If you want to keep the chest open with whichever option you've got, or maybe hands are up high. Whatever you like most, just give yourself a couple of breaths to release. Great, so on that next inhale, gently bring the left hand, take that to the inside of the left foot. Really plant that left hand as best you can to the inside of that left foot. Right hand comes to right hip. You're starting to open this chest out as best you can towards the right hand side. And then maybe right hand stays there. You might find that you want to open out. We've got left knee over left ankle still. And then really opening out. Big, big inhale. Big exhale, take that right hand back to the hip, and then we'll slowly draw right hand back down. Frame the front foot once again. We're going to step up with the back foot on that next inhale. Standing forward fold once again, just release the top of the head, have a little tap towards the right and then towards the left. Feel nice and heavy with the head. Big inhale, halfway lift. Find that length into the back. Maybe the hamstrings feel a little bit more open now. And then gently exhale to release. Big, big inhale. Halfway lift. And then from this halfway lift, I'm going to do another quick standing pose. Tadasana mountain pose. Just spread the toes out. Bring the palms so they're facing forwards. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Big, big inhale. Big exhale. Another big inhale. Raise the hands up high, lead with the chest, come forwards into that standing forward fold. Feeling nice and heavy through the head. We're going to bring right foot back, followed by the left foot this time. Plank pose. So feeling nice and strong into the arms, through the legs. Big inhale, big exhale. And then just before release, we're going to go for one last downward facing dog. So swing those hips up and over back behind you. Look for that nice big lift of the hips, pedaling through the feet. Really noticing how the hips, the hamstrings, the arms all feel. Big inhale, big exhale. We're going to give it 3 breaths here. Great, so last one, big, big inhale. Big exhale, slowly, slowly. Just take the knees down towards the mat. Look for a little release through the whole body as we flip on over to our backs. Going to come to just take the knees up, lower back or the tailbones drawn firmly away from us, so we've got the whole back in contact with the mat, opening into the chest, gently inhaling, hands either side of you, and then gently exhaling. We're going to bring both the knees towards the right hand side, so just releasing through a little supine twist. See how that plays into your lower back. And then on that inhale, draw the legs through centre onto the left hand side. And then take them back tall. Any sense of discomfort, you're just going to leave the knees up. In fact, just before we extend the legs out, you might go for an optional happy baby. So you can grab maybe the outside of one of the legs, say the right leg. You can grab the outside of the right foot with a hand and then just start to stretch gently through right hamstring. We're looking for the top of the head to stay nice and heavy, the tailbone to remain heavy as well. So you get that length through the back and then just gently stretching into the hamstring. You can go with one foot, or even if you can't quite reach it, just kind of grabbing another part of the leg. We can swap it onto the other side as well. So just gently releasing into that hamstring, staying heavy with the tailbone, shoulders into the mat as well. Top of the head's releasing. And then you've got that option. If you want to, you can grab both of them and then just start gently pressing through the heels, looking for that length into the hamstrings. Noticing the sense of the blood running back away from the legs towards the rest of the body. Big inhale, big exhale. We're going to release the feet back down. So once again, you might leave the knees up tall. Any sense of discomfort, particularly in that lower back, if it feels like there's a weird throbbing sensation or it just doesn't feel quite right, just leave the knees up. If that all feels fine, draw one foot long, followed by the other foot. Take the hands out long. Palms facing upwards, big inhale, big exhale. And then again, nice big inhale. And then an exhale. And then we're going to breathe one last time, but really draw it down towards that diaphragm, like when we started. So looking for the movement through the top of the chest into the ribcage and down into the diaphragm. And then gently exhale to release. Great. So notice the breath. Just give yourself a few moments, maybe sort of 5 or so breaths to completely notice the breath. If there's any noise or thought that pops in your head, just take that attention back to the breath. So slowly, just make that next breath a little bit deeper. Start to take a bit of movement into the hands, the fingers, toes and the feet. Stretch through the heels. Reach the palms up above the head, then stretch through the whole body. Big inhale, big exhale. Release, nice and slow. As you draw one knee in towards the chest, followed by the other knee. Hug those knees up nice and tight. Look for a little bit of release into the lower back. Big inhale, big exhale. We'll roll to one side. And then look for that comfortable seat. So just like we started, we're going to roll the shoulders back and now feel heavy into the hips and the knees. Bring a bit of lift into the chest. Take the hands into the palms. Lower the gaze for a couple of moments and then take the biggest, deepest breath of all week. And a big exhale as well. Stay. Thanks very much for joining. Hopefully see you again very soon. Thank you.